Today I'm with a special guest. Today I'm joined by Meredith. Meredith is the sister of Peter. You guys might remember I interviewed Peter about 3 weeks ago, June 20th, and Meredith is Peter's sister, and she saw the video and she reached out to me. So Meredith is out of state, so we're doing it by Zoom today. Meredith, thank you very much for joining the Lost in Phoenix community to kind of give us an update, little backstory to what you saw on the video of Peter. Was that pretty much accurate to what he stated?
Yeah, pretty much. For Peter has been kind of on the streets for a couple years now. He is a very bright and soft, loving kid. He's my older brother, but to me and him, he's my little big brother just because he's shorter than me, but he's older than me. Yeah, he is my best friend. I haven't seen him in 2 years, like you stated. I did move states. I moved about 2 years ago, and I haven't seen him. And like I said, he's an all around good kid, good heart, just having a hard time right now.
He seems like a gentle soul, very respectful and just nice the times that I've seen him. So I did interview him that one day. That was the first time I had met him. But since then, I've seen him here and there. He's a really, really nice young man. And it's unfortunate that he's caught up in this lifestyle right now for the past, couple years. But let me ask you, if Peter was to go to treatment and go to treatment for 30 days, 60 days, whatever, and he gets out of treatment, do you think there's sufficient family support for him to go somewhere with family so that he doesn't have to go back to the streets and start that cycle again?
Yeah, absolutely. My dad and my dad's other son, Nick, every time they get a chance and they see Peter, they automatically just take him. And if he ever did the treatment, even if he didn't do the treatment, our family's always willing to take him home and give him a home. It's very easy to get Peter. It's just very hard to keep Peter at the house.
Okay. And why do you think that is? He'll be, so what I hear typically of what other people have told me is, yeah, I'll go home to my mom's house and, I'll shower, I'll eat. But then after a day, 2-3 days max, I start getting sick, right? I have to go back out to the street. Is that similar with Peter?
Absolutely. I know one time my dad's other son, which is Peter's brother, Nick, he actually was able to keep him there for almost a whole month, where Peter was starting to get sober, very much the detoxing stage. And I think what had happened was he usually just says he's going to go get something to drink. Obviously, they have lives and they have to go to work. So I think what happened was that he took the opportunity when his brother Nick went to work, and that's kind of where we left off from the last time. No, not the last time. Before you had actually interviewed or met him, he was with my dad. He was actually at home for a week, and he had just said the same thing. Everybody was at work. He was at the house. I think it's the boredom that gets him to want to leave again, because he said he texted my dad saying he's going to go get something to drink at the Circle K that's just right down the street, and that was the last time that my dad seen him. So
it seems like when I see him here and there, he always looks kind of clean, right? So he's obviously staying at your dad's house and kind of getting new wardrobe and is showering, but that pull of the streets has him go back out there, and his friends out in the streets, it looks like he has like a group of friends out there that might be pulling him a little bit more than family, right? So it's just interesting. I find it very interesting, and at the same time super scary, because as you know, Meredith, these pills are very dangerous, right? It's not something to play with.
Right.
Unfortunately, people are passing away due to these pills. Would you say that's one of your biggest fears, to get a phone call from your dad?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's one of my biggest fears. And, I reach out to my dad every single day just to see, if he's heard anything. They go look for him every day as well. Peter is a very, like you said, he's a very friendly and welcoming guy. He knows, I can't even tell you how many areas of Phoenix that he knows people. He like, I don't know, it's just, he has a great heart. It makes me cry just thinking about it, because it's all of our fear that, you know, that even for my dad, if he ever got somebody show up at the house or a phone call, like, I know it will tear our family apart if we ever heard of the passing of my brother.
That's why there has to be urgency from
Absolutely.
Peter to get well, go to treatment, get well, right? It's not just sufficient to go to your dad's house for a day or two, get clean, as far as showering, you know, eating, sleeping for a night, and then go back into the street for a week, right? You can't do that, because eventually the streets will win eventually, either prison, you know, or he won't be here, unfortunately. And that's what I'm running into. I'm interviewing people, and months later, a year later, I get a phone call from their family. Hey, you know, you interviewed, you know, my daughter, and I just got a call from, you know, she's no longer with us. So that's what he has to realize. And I talked to him, I mentioned that to him, right? And it's just whatever trauma he has, you know, battling inside within him, that's something that he's going to have to sort out. I think he does have support. You've reached out. Your father has reached out. You obviously love him. You care, but as we all know, with addiction, we can't force them, right? We can't force treatment on them. They have to decide to want treatment. So does it get frustrating for you?
It does. Because like he said in the video, he was sober for 6 months at a time. I believe even a time before that, he was sober for a full year working. You know, he was thinking about going back to school to try to get his GED. He can be very successful if he wants to be. It's just like you said, it's that inner battle with his trauma and everything mentally. For him, I'm sure it's exhausting. And for me, it's because he was always my protector. Like, he was always so big on me in high school, like, you know, no drugs, don't do this, don't do that, stay in school. Like, all the teachers and stuff referred to him as the bad child. And I was like, no, he is, like, he could be the worst kid sometimes, but he never failed in class. So for me, for him not to, like, I don't think it's not wanting to get sober. I think, like you said, it's that battle inside. And I think it's hard for him to kind of just open up some of the past wounds that's happened. And I think that's just what it comes down to. And I just want him to know, I always tell my dad this every single day, like, I want him to know that no matter what, like, he is loved and he's going to be supported. And we just want him home.
Absolutely. I think that's what you want as a sister. I think that's what your dad wants, right? As a father, is to be reunited with a loving child. Again, he seems like a really nice guy, very respectful when I've talked to him, and he's just caught up. So what do you think the future holds? What do you think is going to happen, or what has to happen to help Peter?
I think what has to happen is just being able to kind of just open up the wounds that he's dealing with. And like, we just want to push him not push him, but we want him to, like, make that decision for himself that, you know, he wants to get the help, and that we can do everything that we can to, you know, take him to the facilities. I saw that in the video you had mentioned that you didn't need a specific insurance, that the government actually gives that to him. And that's what we're looking for. That's what at least I'm hopeful for, is that he wants to open up his heart and open up his mind and to get the help that he needs, so that we can have our brother, and that we're not worried every single day, like, where is he at? Is he sleeping? Is he, you know, doing the wrong things? You know what I mean? I know for my dad and for his brother, Nick, as well, they just want to help him, and they want to give him all of the support and hugs that we can possibly give him, just like you said, just to let him know that he's not alone in this battle, that we don't have to go through it exactly to be there for him, but just to be able to hold his hand and let him know, like I said, he's not alone.
Absolutely. I think that support is critical. He has to feel that support, right? When he's ready. He might be ready today, tomorrow, next week, next year, but when he's ready, he's gonna know that he can call you, he can call his dad to pick him
Hmm.
up, to take him to treatment, to help him after treatment, right? Help him
Yeah.
with the job, help him with rides. He has that support. That it's a strong nucleus, I think, because that's what I'm sensing from you folks, and that's great because most people don't have that. They're like alone in the world, and so that's even worse, right? You got trauma, and nobody's gonna help you, nobody's gonna support you, so why change?
Exactly.
But at least Peter doesn't have that, doesn't have to deal with that. He does have that support. So he just needs to build up the courage to take the next step forward to help himself. Let me ask you, Meredith, do you think the interview that I did with him was helpful in any way to yourself, to your dad, to the community, to young people out there that are going to watch that video? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the video spreads awareness to kind of let everybody know what is going on in Phoenix. And especially with that heat, I know in the video, he looked extremely hot. I don't know how he's doing it with the flannel. I think that if his story can help one person, then I'm sure it could reach other people and let them know that, you know, they're not alone in this battle, in this like continuous fight, it seems like, with the streets and stuff. And I'm hopeful that if we can help at least one other family, that, you know, just to let them know that they're not alone in this either, that there's a whole community willing to fight for their loved ones, and to let anybody out on the streets, let them know that they're, like I said, they're not alone in this.
Absolutely, Meredith. My mission is prevention through awareness. By Peter having the courage to share his story to thousands all over the nation, world, actually, because I get people from all over the world. Hey, I'm from Switzerland, I'm from Scotland, I'm from, Peter's story is touching. So if somebody, a young person out there, watches Peter's story and decides, you know what, somebody hands me a pill and says, try this, I'm gonna say no, because I don't want to lose everything. And so prevention through awareness, being aware, but also planting a seed in Peter's head and heart and saying, here, young man, it's not only Meredith, your sister, it's not only your father, it's not only your family, it's also a stranger that can want to give you support because you matter. So I think they need to hear that reinforcement, right? And the more they hear it, the more maybe it'll click, right? Something will jumpstart in them. And so there's nothing wrong with continued support from family and from a stranger like myself, right? So he has my card. He can always call me if he doesn't want to call you. Sometimes they don't want to call family because they don't want to be a burden to you. They don't want you to cry. They don't want you to be sad. So guess what? They call me because they'd rather, and I don't mind. Right. So again, I'm trying to build that rapport and relationship, that trust with Peter, in case he doesn't or can't reach out to you folks. Maybe I'm a little bit closer. You're in a different state and maybe your dad's busy, but maybe I can help him. Right. So again, I think it's important and vital for us to continue to build a solid relationship, because if you hear something about Peter, you'll notify me. If I hear something about Peter, I'll notify you and your father. So that's how we build a community and rally around Peter and everybody else that I interview. That makes sense, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what you're doing out there is amazing. And I wish more people would actually jump up and do what you do, because like you said, it is about building that trust, because a lot of people who are on the streets, that's usually what makes them go there, is that trust is lost. And like I said, I just think what you're doing is amazing. And I'm hopeful that when Peter does get clean, he'll look back at it and he'll be very grateful. And, from our family, we just want to say we appreciate what you're doing out there.
Well, thank you very much, Meredith. I can't wait to hear his comeback story.
Oh, right? Absolutely. Me either.
I was, Peter's going to say one day I was lost, but, my family stuck with me, and now I'm found, and now I have a job, and I'm about to get married, and I'm going to have kids and all that, all that. Life is beautiful, right? It's just unfortunate that some young people don't give themselves an opportunity to, look at the blessings of life. So any last comments, Meredith, before I wrap it up?
No, I just, again, thank you for all your work, and just to anyone who's out there, just don't, trust me, man, it's not worth it. Don't do it. And Peter himself would tell you over and over again, when you don't do it, because there's so many beautiful things in this world. It's just not worth it.
Absolutely. I second that. I see it every single day. Unfortunately, you're seeing it from the lens of a sister and dealing with Peter, but I see it every single day from just hundreds of people that are out there, young, old, black, white, Hispanic, rich, poor, it doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
These are just humans that are suffering, and it's us folks that are blessed to try to help them and assist them, let them know they're not alone. So
Yeah.
I want to
And
say
just
thank you.
kindness as well.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. I'm going to say thank you very much, Meredith, for talking to me, for joining me and sharing a little bit about your story and Peter's story. And let's continue to work together so that we can help Peter and strengthen our community. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you. We'll talk soon.
All right. Bye.